Have you ever felt that familiar nod of anxiety, that little pause just before you need to speak English, especially when it, really counts?
Oh, absolutely.
You're definitely not alone there. It's such a common hurdle for so many people learning a new language.
Mm-hmm.
But what if building that real speaking confidence wasn't just about wishing for it? What if it was about unlocking some practical, almost science-backed strategies?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really our mission today. We've done a pretty deep dive into a whole stack of source material, linguistic research, communication guides, you name it.
Good stuff.
And we've pulled out what we think are the most potent bits of wisdom. We're here to help you speak English more confidently, more clearly, and turn that hesitation into, real conversational power.
It's fascinating, actually, how the sources sort of light up this journey. Take Daniel, for instance. This case came up quite a bit.
Okay.
Started at an international company, and he was just incredibly nervous about speaking in meetings, like really hesitant, voice super quiet.
Get in there.
Yeah. But through consistent, really focused work on certain techniques, and maybe more importantly, a big shift in how he saw himself. He totally transformed. Eventually, he wasn't just participating, he was confidently leading those same discussions. It was amazing.
Wow.
And the sources are clear. Daniel's success wasn't some magic talent. It was consistency, belief, and crucially, deliberate practice.
It's such a key insight right from the get-go, isn't it? Because it kind of tears down that myth that confidence is just something you're born with or not.
Exactly. Fixed trait thinking. No.
Our sources really make this compelling case. It's a skill, like playing an instrument or, learning a complex recipe.
Right.
You build it. And what's really cool is how the research actually unpacks the neuroscience behind it, how language learning literally rewires pathways in your brain.
Neuroplasticity.
Yeah. It shows confidence isn't a switch you just flip. It's a muscle.
Yeah.
You got to strengthen it through, focused repetition and actually doing it.
So true.
So, okay, if confidence is a skill we build, what's the very first barrier? The thing our sources say we need to tackle first?
That's a great question. And the material really, really hammers home one particular thing. The fear of making mistakes.
The classic.
The classic. But the surprising insight isn't just, mistakes are okay. It's that the speed you learn from them is tied directly to how quickly you just accept them.
Okay, how so?
Well, the sources detail these specific kind of cognitive strategies that top learners use. They basically internalize error correction really fast. They turn every, let's say, mistake into this precise feedback loop.
Right. So don't just ignore it. Learn from it.
Exactly. Imagine your mistakes are like stepping stones. Each one just guides you forward. Rachel's story illustrates this perfectly.
Okay. Tell me about Rachel.
She was initially paralyzed by the fear of grammar errors. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
But her teacher reframed it. Said mistakes weren't failures. They were just essential data points for learning. Great, now we know what to work on.
That's a powerful shift.
Huge. And that simple change helped Rachel just speak more freely, worry less about being perfect.
Okay, so embracing mistakes. What about that little voice inside our heads? We all have one. How do the sources suggest we manage that internal critic?
Yeah, the self-talk, it's huge. It profoundly affects how we feel and ultimately how we perform.
Definitely.
The sources really emphasize that what you say to yourself matters a lot, instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, or I'm going to mess this up.
Which is easy to do.
So easy. You consciously switch to affirmations, things like, okay, I'm improving every single day, or I can communicate clearly.
And does that actually work?
Well, look at Mark's story. He was apparently incredibly shy, but he made this commitment to tell himself, I can do this every day.
Okay.
And that positive attitude, which he really had to cultivate, helped him become one of the best speakers in his class. It wasn't magic. It was mindset work. And John, similar thing. He shifted his internal script from, I'm just bad at English, to, okay, I'm learning and I'm getting better. And that simple switch, it motivated him to practice more.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It sounds like patience is a big piece of this puzzle, too.
Yeah.
Because learning a language, any language, it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh, absolutely. The sources constantly remind us, some days will feel easier, some days you'll feel like you're going backwards. Totally normal.
Right.
But what often gets missed, I think, is the power of celebrating the small wins, the tiny victories.
Like what?
Like, as one source puts it, even small improvements are important. We heard about Henry, who started out super quiet.
Okay.
By setting these really small, achievable goals, like one day Just say hello to 3 new people. The next, maybe explain one part of his job.
Manageable chunks.
Exactly. He built his confidence bit by bit, little by little, over months. It really shows how those tiny steps genuinely add up. It's not about the giant leap.
Got it. So mindset first. Crucial.
Definitely the foundation. Once you've kind of got that internal game sorted, then we can look at the moments when you're actually speaking.
Okay.
And our deep dive revealed some really effective strategies for that real-time communication. Starting with something that sounds simple, the power of preparation.
Preparation. Yeah, it seems basic, but I bet it's often ignored.
Totally. It's perfectly okay, actually encouraged, to take a moment. Gather your thoughts before you dive in. The sources suggest a really simple but effective exercise. Just imagine explaining something easy, like your favorite food or a trip you took recently. Practice telling that story out loud.
Okay, like a low-stakes rehearsal.
Exactly. Then for real-life stuff like meetings or even social events, consciously prepare what you might want to say. Even just jotting down a few keywords.
Keywords, not a whole script.
Yeah, keywords are often better. Less robotic. David's story really brings this home. He had to introduce himself at a work meeting.
Nerve-wracking.
Totally. So he prepared just a short intro, wrote down simple phrases like, "Hello, my name is David. I work in marketing." Basic stuff. And that simple act of prepping allowed him to speak clearly, confidently when it was his turn. No panic, just delivered.
Okay, preparation helps. What else?
Building on that, the sources make a very clear point. Clarity beats speed or complexity. Every time.
Interesting. So don't try to sound super smart or talk fast.
Right. Speaking too quickly often makes you stumble, trip over your words. Plus, it's harder for the listener to keep up.
True.
When you deliberately slow down just a bit, you buy yourself time to choose your words. And that clarity alone makes you sound more confident.
Makes sense.
And the research also highlights using simple, direct language clearly. Much more effective than trying to impress with fancy vocabulary you're not, 100% comfortable with.
Okay.
James, for example. Initially, he tried using lots of complex words in meetings, thought it sounded professional, but his colleagues often found him kind of hard to understand. So he shifted. Practiced simpler sentences, basic vocabulary.
And the result?
Conversations got much smoother. And crucially, he felt way more comfortable and confident. Big win.
That's a powerful shift. And it's not just about keeping it simple, is it? It's also about giving your answers a bit more substance.
Exactly. That's another underestimated point. Simply extending your answers.
Okay, how do you mean?
Well, many learners fall into the trap of giving really short, almost clipped responses. Like just yes or it's okay.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all do it. But to really build that fluency and confidence, you want to train yourself, add a bit more detail, maybe a feeling or a reason behind your answer.
Can you give an example?
Think about Emma. Her improvement was remarkable. Initially, if you asked about her day, she'd say I wake up, I go to work. End of story.
Very concise.
Too concise. But after her teacher challenged her to speak for a full minute about her morning.
A whole minute? Wow.
Yeah. She came back with something like, okay, I usually wake up around 6:30. I take a quick shower, get dressed. Then I make breakfast, usually eggs and toast, which I really enjoy. After that, I take the bus. It's about a 25-minute ride.
Big difference.
Huge. That's not just more info. It's a massive leap in confident, detailed communication just by extending the answer.
Oh, okay. I see that. Now, speaking of clarity and confidence, our sources also talk about using specific kinds of phrases, like polite and confident phrases.
Yes, absolutely. These are little tools you can use. Phrases like, I think, or in my opinion, when you're sharing ideas.
Why those?
They soften the delivery a bit, make it sound less like a blunt declaration, but still assured. Lisa's story was great here.
Okay.
She was nervous about contributing in meetings, started deliberately using I think and, in my opinion, more often.
And it helped.
Massively. That subtle shift helped her speak up more with more confidence. She actually became a really important team member because her ideas were finally being heard.
Interesting. Small change, big impact.
Totally. And the sources also point to other soft but strong phrases. Things like, I believe, or I suggest, or even maybe we could.
Good for collaboration.
Exactly. Excellent for politely but firmly sharing your views. There was this role play example with Daniel and Emma using them in a meeting about a new project. Worked really well.
Got it. So preparation, clarity, extending answers, polite phrases, anything else for that in-the-moment toolkit.
One more crucial piece. Tone. Your tone of voice.
Ah, okay. How you sound.
Precisely. A clear, strong tone automatically suggests you believe what you're saying. Whereas, like, an unsure, hesitant tone, it can undermine your message no matter how good your words are.
Right, makes you sound doubtful even if you're not.
Exactly. Remember Daniel from the start.
Yeah, the guy who got confident leading meetings.
Right. Before a really critical work meeting, he didn't just practice what he was going to say, he practiced how he was going to say it, focused on speaking clearly, calmly. So when his boss asked his opinion on a new strategy, Daniel didn't hesitate. He said clearly, "I believe this strategy will significantly increase our customer engagement. I've reviewed the numbers, and this plan shows real promise."
Confident delivery.
Super confident. And his tone wasn't just impactful. His boss apparently just nodded immediately. Approved. Your voice's strength and clarity. Powerful signals of confidence, often subconscious ones.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we've covered the inner game, the mindset stuff, and these outward strategies for when you're actually speaking.
Yep.
Now let's get into the active practice. The sort of daily hands-on techniques our sources show are really vital for building up that speaking confidence muscle. Where do we start?
Well, a foundational step, and one that often gets overlooked because it seems so simple, is just listening carefully to native speakers.
Listening to improve speaking.
Absolutely. It's not just about understanding what they say. It's about actively absorbing the natural expressions, the pronunciation, the rhythm, the sort of music of the language.
Ah, okay. More than just vocabulary.
Way more. Sarah, for instance, she immersed herself by listening to English podcasts. But critically, she then intentionally repeated what she heard.
Mimicking them.
Kind of, yeah. And that consistent practice dramatically improved her accent and, just as importantly, expanded her range of natural-sounding phrases. Emma did something similar with news and podcasts, repeating for accent and flow.
And to really boost that listening practice, the sources mention something called shadowing.
Yes. Shadowing is incredibly powerful. It's basically where you repeat what a native speaker says immediately after they say it, almost like an echo.
Okay.
You try to match their tone, their rhythm, their speed as closely as you possibly can.
Why is that so effective?
The why is key here. It trains your ears and your mouth at the same time. It builds that crucial muscle memory for pronunciation and intonation without you having to stop and consciously analyze every single sound.
So you just sort of absorb it.
You move from just understanding the sound to kind of embodying the sound of English. It's very direct.
Interesting. Okay. Moving beyond just listening, asking questions, how does that fit in as a practice technique?
It's surprisingly effective. On one level, it obviously shows you're interested, keeps the conversation going. Basic politeness, right?
Sure.
But strategically. It also buys you a little thinking time, which can be gold when you're feeling put on the spot.
Yeah. Good point.
So if your coworker Anna says she likes cooking, you can easily ask, "Oh, cool, what type of food do you like to cook?" Simple. Keeps it moving.
Right.
And we even saw Daniel early on start using follow-up questions more. Someone mentioned a vacation, he'd ask, "Oh, what was your favorite part of the trip?"
Shows engagement.
Exactly. That simple technique didn't just make conversations deeper. It started to position him as a more fluent, more engaged communicator. Almost like leadership, in a way.
Okay. Now, what about stuff beyond the words themselves, like body language and breathing?
Oh, hugely important. They send incredibly powerful messages, both to the people you're talking to and actually back to yourself. Well, simple things. Smiling, making consistent eye contact, just standing or sitting up straight. They don't just signal confidence outwardly.
Right.
They actually trigger feedback loops in your brain that help you feel more self-assured internally. It's a two-way street.
Fascinating.
Even using your hands naturally when you talk to emphasize points. It can make your English sound more engaging, more authentic.
Okay. And the breathing part for nerves.
Yeah, for when those nerves kick in, as they do. Oliver's story was a great example. He consciously practiced taking deep, calm breaths right before he had to speak.
Did it help?
Big time. It helped him slow down his racing thoughts, allowed him to articulate his words more clearly instead of rushing through them in a panic. Simple, but effective.
Such an overlooked aspect of communicating well. And speaking of practical self-improvement, recording yourself speaking. That sounds a bit daunting.
It can feel weird at first, definitely, but it's an incredibly insightful technique. It gives you this objective mirror. It lets you notice areas you need to improve. Maybe pronunciation, maybe grammar, maybe filler words, things you just miss in the heat of the moment.
Okay. You hear yourself as others hear you.
Precisely. Emma developed this habit. Recorded short talks on her phone every week, listened back, And that feedback loop helped her identify specific things to work on, leading to much clearer speech over time.
Makes sense.
Blake even mentioned using it to catch himself overusing words like really and very.
The intensity killer.
Exactly. So he consciously worked on replacing them with stronger words like extremely or completely, made his speaking more impactful.
Okay, recording yourself.
Yeah.
Got it. What about the suggestion to speak in front of a mirror? Also sounds a bit awkward.
It does. It feels strange initially, for sure. But the benefit is seeing your own facial expressions, your mouth movements as you form the words, your overall body language.
Visual feedback.
Yes, that visual feedback, combined with just getting more used to the sound of your own voice speaking English, can significantly reduce that self-consciousness, that nervousness. Oliver, who mentioned feeling odd speaking English, found this really helped. Practiced in the mirror, started noticing he actually smiled more naturally, used his hands more expressively than he thought, boosted his confidence directly.
Right. Getting comfortable with yourself speaking the language.
Exactly. And while all these solo practices are powerful, let's be honest, nothing quite beats real-world interaction.
Ah, yes. Practicing with a partner or a friend.
Absolutely crucial. Our sources really emphasize this. While speaking alone helps, those real dynamic conversations in a supportive setting, that's where you accelerate your improvement.
Because it's safe to mess up.
Precisely. You need that context where you feel comfortable making mistakes. Because remember, mistakes are just stepping stones. Rachel met her colleague John every week just to practice English.
Dedicated practice buddies.
Yep. And Emma found a huge boost joining a language exchange group where the whole vibe was, it's okay to make errors, we're all learning. Took the pressure off.
That supportive environment sounds key.
It really is. And for a super simple yet highly effective daily drill you can do alone, reading aloud.
Just reading something out loud.
Yep, sounds basic, right? But it's a fantastic way to directly train your speaking muscles, your mouth, your tongue, your vocal cords.
How does it help speaking, though?
It improves your pronunciation because you're forced to articulate clearly. It helps you internalize the rhythm and flow of English sentences, and it just boosts overall clarity.
Okay.
Andrew significantly improved his spoken English just by reading English books aloud for 10 minutes every morning, focused on really saying each word clearly.
Wow, 10 minutes a day.
Yeah. And Blake mentioned, even as an advanced speaker, he still reads news articles aloud daily just to keep sharp.
Okay, lots of practice techniques there. How do we sort of bring it all together without getting overwhelmed?
Great question. And that leads to the final piece of advice from our sources on practice. Set small, achievable goals.
Break it down.
Exactly. Instead of this huge, daunting goal of perfect fluency, which doesn't really exist anyway, focus on mastering one manageable thing at a time. Maybe this week, it's just introducing yourself clearly. Next week, asking one follow-up question in every conversation.
Baby steps.
Totally. Lisa, aiming to improve English for her job, took this step-by-step approach. First goal, just say hello without hesitating. Next, explain her job in 2 simple sentences.
Less stressful.
Way less stressful. And that incremental strategy steadily built her confidence brick by brick without the overwhelm.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, if we kind of connect all these threads, building English-speaking confidence, it's not about an overnight fix, no magic pill.
Definitely not.
It's a continuous, deliberate process. It absolutely requires consistent practice, yes, but also, crucially, that patient and positive mindset we talked about at the start.
All right, mindset and action together.
Yeah. Think of speaking as a skill. Like anything else you're good at, you genuinely get better by doing it. Often. And with intention.
Exactly. And hopefully this deep dive has given you, our listener, not just, common sense advice, but some really actionable insights. Things rooted in real experience and research. Embrace your mistakes. They really are your fastest teachers. Always try to prepare your thoughts, even just a quick mental outline, before you jump in.
Good reminder.
Focus on speaking slowly, clearly, understanding over speed, always. And commit to some kind of daily practice, whatever works for you. Recording yourself, reading aloud, finding a buddy to chat with.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely. Now, here's maybe a final thought for you to chew on as you go about your day. Think about just one small, actionable step you can take today from everything we've discussed.
Just one thing.
Just one. How will you apply that one thing in your very next English conversation to make it maybe your most confident exchange yet?
That's a great challenge. Keep practicing, keep believing in your progress. And honestly, your English speaking confidence will absolutely grow. It really will.